It's dark. It's about 10 p.m. and Ryan's tired. I slept wrong somehow. It feels like my back's been bent the wrong way. But it's gotten a little better throughout the day as I keep moving. I spent my day with Alan over here. We did the majority of the wiring for the manual conversion, and it's about done. We've got to move a few pins around in the interior for the DSC switch, but everything with the DME's done. We got the car running, no codes related to the engine or transmission sensors, things like that. It was kind of misfiring and idling roughly, and couldn't figure that out. We had misfires on cylinders 1 through 5. So we come down here, we made a real easy mistake. We had the bank 102 sensor pre-cat plugged into the bank 2, so they were just flipped. And you can only tell because the wires that go over to bank 2 are a few inches longer, but when they're all hanging down like this, it is difficult to tell. And I had him just crawl under the car and plug things in so it wouldn't throw a check engine light for not having O2s. So we made that adjustment, cleared those codes, and now it starts and runs and sounds really good without misfires, which is good news. Drive shaft is in this one. We still need an exhaust system. Obviously, all those wires need to be tucked up there and made pretty. Center console needs to go back in, a couple more pieces of trim, and as I said, the DSC switch wiring. But we made the adjustments at the ABS module today, so we're real close. Really, the M5 and M6 are both waiting on parts that are no longer available, which means that's going to very quickly need to be something that I work with and figure out what the hell we're going to do about it. I finished the inspection on the E92 M3 today, delivered those results to the customer. We'll be hopping on the phone tomorrow morning, kind of reviewing that and building a service plan moving forwards, or at least getting some things approved for estimates so we can proceed with building a service plan for this car. But it's a really, really nice example of an E92 M3. Low mileage, almost mint interior, almost mint exterior. These are the cars that I love to work on because just a handful of jobs inside, outside, and underneath can take an 8.7 car and turn it into a 9.8, 9.9 car, which is exciting. I've driven these before. I drove Jeff's red E92 6-speed in Ohio, and that was a blast. And I had one other one in here. I think it was white, maybe black. Did some real basic service and just drove it around the lot. But I took this out today on 2 laps around our little test circuit here in Escondido for road testing. It drives pretty much like a new car. I didn't feel or hear anything that I thought needed attention. There are a couple things in the suspension that, if left as is, will cause problems in the future. But kind of the takeaway of the M3 is the steering, handling, and suspension is just incredible. It is some of the best handling and steering I've ever felt in a car. It's another leap above the E60 M5, and that was the objective. This is the lightweight, throw it around track car. The M5 is the throw it on the highway and really pick up some triple-digit speed car. My complaint with the M3 is the S65 V8 is it doesn't make any torque. So you've got to rev the absolute shit out of it to go anywhere, which A, I'm not going to do in a customer car, and B, isn't really my driving style. I've been very spoiled with the big burly V8 in the old E39 M5, which is just much better suited for me in the way I drive a car. But if you're on a track and you want to keep revs above 6,000, my goodness, that'd be hard to beat. Mike worked on Kennan's M5 today. We've got new Vanos seals done, and the engine is starting to go back together. Everything's clean, mating surfaces are good. So chain guides are in, chains are on. I think tomorrow's timing day, which is a lot easier in the S62 than the M62. And then hopefully we'll get some timing covers on tomorrow, get this thing buttoned up by the end of the week. Kennan's on his way back right now from, well, Nantucket to Boston to Denver, and finally on his way to San Diego now. He'll be here in about an hour and a half. When we get a lift freed up, the M6 will go back up, have the exhaust reinstalled, kind of do a pre-delivery inspection underneath, make sure everything's back together properly. Steering wheel still needs to come off so I can remove the paddle shifters. That's the trim we're waiting on in there. But we're really, really, really close on this car, and I can't wait to get it out and do a little bit of road testing and see how this thing feels with a stick. This car came in today, 2002 M5, 65,000 miles, titanium silver, black sport interior. It's kind of the same spec as Kennan's car. Oh yeah, it's got all the options too, PDC and sunshades, Titan interior trim. He wants to get rid of that tech cup holder and just replace that with a standard panel. That seat definitely looks twisted to me. Let's see. Yep. Get it straightened out overnight so we don't crease the leather, but that'll show up on the MPI, and that's what he's having us do. We're going to start with the inspection and go from there, see what he wants to do or what he wants to invest in the car. Typical things there, even at 60,000 miles. Wow, folding seats. And I am gonna bet right now that we've got M Audio subwoofers back here. Yep, completely fully loaded car. Needs a Mark IV. The Golf thing is in the wrong place. This is my first time looking at this car, other than just in the parking lot today. It needs trunk struts yesterday. That thing feels really heavy. And it's 65,115, just a little baby. Getting a look at Kennan's car here. Looks like it's coming along great. All this was pretty dirty, really oily down here before. So lots and lots of progress, but I've got to get out of here. It's time for dinner. Usual end of the day story. Talk to you guys tomorrow on Hump Day already. Good night.